join the feast, and oh wow, what a turnout. The bloody guy himself isn't even here, the guy that invited us. Well, it's lovely to meet you. Well, I'm Randomus. Splendid to make your acquaintance. Can I help you with anything? Was this maybe a blind date, do you think? Do you think we got set up, Clodora? I'd like the honour of knowing more about you, my lady. Count Tarshais. Maybe he is. Maybe we've been set up together. Well, I'm not going to profess my love to you when I've only just met you, but can I buy you a drink? You know, I'm quite someone, you know. I have my own village. I have nice armor that looks like feathers. I have a moustache. I've won some tournaments. Yeah, the conversation seems a little bit one-sided here. Well, it was a lovely feast. Maybe everyone's hiding around here as a prank. Lads, right? Bloody lads. Maybe they're all up here. Oh, no. We have just been set up together. Well, Clodora, ignore that. That's... No. You didn't see that. I've embarrassed myself. I'm going. That is at least how the tale goes. However, 9 months later, Lady Clodora birthed a son. A son with fine ginger locks. Out of wedlock, and as a noble woman, this scandal could not be known. So the bastard son was discarded, sold to a farmer from the village of Tasjanat. Being this a poor Saranid village, far from anywhere of note, Lady Clodora was sure that no one of the Rodok nobility should ever suspect a thing. However, rumours around Tasjanat were rife, and as the little orphan grew up, he began to wonder about who his real father might have been. He had been told the circumstances of his birth, but never the identity of his father. But could it really be the famed warrior Randomus, who had vanished shortly after the battle for Karaf Castle, never to be heard of again? Some of the other kids in the village even called him Randomus II. But surely that's just a joke. As the boy grew, and the wars of the rest of the world continued to rage, he worked the farms. The peasant life was a hard one, but it made him strong, and soon he became an excellent fighter. Could there be something in his genes? The question of his father's identity stuck with him, and in the end, the boy, now a man, decided he must find out, or at least escape the peasant life which had become so tedious. And so the man joined the guard of a trading caravan that was passing through one day. With them, he travelled the land until one day, soon after leaving Tasjanat, the caravan was set upon by bandits. Peppered with arrows, the man fell, and awoke hours later to the aftermath of a massacre. Everyone, including the other guards and the trader, had been slain, and the treasures were taken. Taking what few measly items the bandits had left, the man crawled to the nearest town, where he spent weeks recovering. One day, a tournament was held at the town, and although still too weak to compete, the man made some money betting. Using these winnings, the man purchased some goods and began to trade. With time, the man's strength grew, and with it, his purse. Soon, he felt as though he could leave the town and travel and trade around the land. Figuring on his own he would be quicker, and therefore have an easier time avoiding bandits. And so the man did, travelling alone from village to village, from town to town, buying and selling all the way. Of course, bandits couldn't be avoided all the time, but his experiences, by now, had made him a mighty warrior, and he was able to defend himself in all situations. The man continued to travel. The wars of the world continued to rage. He continued to buy, continued to sell, continued to fight where necessary, but never finding word of where or what had become of Randomus. If anything, the world seemed to have forgotten the once great warrior. Karaf Castle had been retaken in one of the many wars since Randomus's disappearance, and with it most of the Western Desert. People didn't seem to recognise the name Randomus anymore. But with every disappointment, the man grew sure of who his father was, and so took the name Randomus II, such as the villagers had joked to him in Tasjanat. As time went by, Randomus II continued to trade, eventually building businesses and growing extremely rich. After a while, he owned some sort of enterprise in nearly every major town in the land. Upon his return home, he decided he can't just travel the world and trade anymore. Wars in the world were threatening his newly acquired businesses, and after such adventure he couldn't go back to the farmer's life. and so he set out to make a true name for himself. This is the grand tale of Randomus II.